This is Sarah, and welcome to Project Write. I am teaching different kinds of poetry, and today I want to teach you one of my absolute favorites. I think that I've been teaching this poem, or this style of poem. I know I've been teaching this style of poem my entire teaching career, since day one. And there are so many cool things about this poem. It's called a pyramid poem. So when you write it, it makes a pyramid. If you're using word processing like Microsoft Word or Google Documents, you just use the center justification right at the top of your page, and then every time you hit enter and you add another word to your line, it starts to build a pyramid. But you can also handwrite them. So I'm going to show you one that I've already done, and then I'm going to write one in front of you as I talk about the rules and I talk about a few tips that you can use to make you more successful with your pyramid poem. Don't be fooled and think that this is a super easy or super childish poem. I've had fun with adults writing these poems. I've had fun with older kids writing these poems, and it can be very challenging, and I think you'll see why. Okay, get ready. Okay, so a pyramid poem typically starts with a noun on the top. When I do these with kids, we often use an animal. They are a lot of fun. But as you can see, this poem has alliteration, which means every word in the poem has to start with the letter that we began with. So we picked pig. The first letter of pig is P, and now here we are. Everything else has to start with P. The other major rule is the bottom line can't be a bunch of random words that start with P. The bottom line really has to be a sentence. Okay, so this is going to involve you changing some word endings, playing around. No, you can't use little words like a or the or is or and, not unless your top word starts with those letters. So again, really creative and really fun. So I start with pig, then I come down a line, pinkish pig. Makes sense, pigs are sometimes pink. Plump, pinkish pig. Yep, pigs can be plump. Plump, pinkish pig playing. Plump, pinkish pig playing ping. Plump, pinkish pig playing ping pong. Perfectly plump, pinkish pig playing ping pong. These are a lot of fun to do with illustrations as well. They always make for great illustrations because the poems are often very silly. But again, you can see that I took this noun and I did two things with it. I added words that both describe the pig, like pink and plump, and then those are, of course, my adjectives. And then I added actions for the pig, things that he was doing, and he was playing, and what he was playing was ping pong. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what you can do to build what I would call a word bank, and finding words that start with the letters that you need. So sit tight. Okay, so for this particular poem, I did two things. I actually made two T-charts, okay? So a T-chart on your page just looks like this, right? You draw a T because you want to put some things on both sides, okay? So what I wanted to do first is I wanted to come up with words that meant certain things. So I wanted to have a column of action words and a column of description words, okay? Let me flip the video around and show you what I'm talking about. I know I'm going to use action or verbs and descriptions or adjectives to come up with words to put in my poem. So the pig could be walking, running, jumping, falling, sitting, singing, scrambling, or dancing. So those are the brainstorming ideas that I put down for action. And then for description, I think a pig could be fat. He could be skinny if he's unlucky. Tall, short, soft, hard, rough, or, gosh, I don't even know what I meant down there when I had FEA. Maybe fearful. I just didn't finish writing it, okay? And then I would go into thesaurus.com and enter these words, then see what thesaurus.com can come up with for anything that starts with P. It's actually pretty fun. All right, so hold on. In my second T chart, I just called it my P bank. Here you have things, verbs, pace, when I put in walking or pacing, poke, poking, pokes, peak, peaking, peaks, adjectives, piece pink, pudgy, prickly, plump. It gives you an idea. Now you don't always have to use thesaurus.com. Sometimes you can quickly brainstorm your own T chart with the letters that you need. And that I think is the most fun. I like to, before I even go to thesaurus.com, I like to brainstorm my P bank if I'm looking for P's, or my L bank if I'm looking for L's. And I can usually come up with a lot. I also, when I write a bank, I like to write the different endings just in case I'm going to need some type of ending. Maybe I need an LY ending. Maybe I need an ED ending. So sometimes writing those different endings really helps. Okay? So here you can see a little bit of what I came up with. In this case, I was using thesaurus.com. Okay, so again, it's just a few things to remember. You want it to be a sentence at the bottom. You don't want it to be a bunch of random words. It's almost like you're telling a silly story. So a bunch of random words that don't connect to anything is not what you want. So sometimes what I run into is I'll find these kids that want to write these huge pyramid poems and they want to show me how smart they are. But they're not always the best ones. The long ones aren't the best ones. It's the ones or the poems that tell the fun stories or the cool stories, or even, poetry doesn't always have to be fun or silly. It can be beautiful. So sometimes it'll tell a beautiful story. But I'm going to write one in front of you just to give you an idea, and then I think you're going to be ready to just start writing these on your own. Don't forget to illustrate them too. They're a lot of fun. All right, here we go. Okay, I think I'm going to write this one about a dolphin. So if I'm going to do what I said, I'm going to try to start to brainstorm my own D bank. So I want verbs, and I can already think dance or dancing or dances. And I want adjectives, words that will describe my dolphin. Delightful, distinguished, what about a diving dolphin? Diving. All right, I think I have a good start and I can start writing this. Okay, so I think I want to start with a dancing dolphin. Gives me a happy feeling or a positive connotation. Excuse my dog in the background. I'm going to say that my dancing dolphin is a distinguished dancing dolphin. Distinguished dancing dolphin. He's going to be doing something else. Let me see. Distinguished dancing dolphin doing. Hopefully my dog will stop barking so I can finish this. Distinguished dancing dolphin doing, and I already know what I'm going to do. Doing delightful dives. Okay, guys, that's basically it. So that's what you want to try when you do it. And just remember the few basic rules. Start in the center, build your pyramid down naturally, because down each line you just add one word at a time. You're always going to use words that start with the same letter. So if you're writing about a tiger, everything starts with T. If you're writing about cars, everything starts with C. I've had kids who were like car loving kids. You know, sometimes you hear the word car guy, well, car kids, okay? And so they would write pyramid poems for different makes and models of cars, like a Lamborghini. So I just think starting with a noun, again, is the best way to go. Animals are super fun because we can draw pictures and illustrate animals doing silly things. But you know, also poems about nature and watching, you know, how those transform. I would say some of my best or most favorite pyramid poems have anywhere from 5 to 10 lines, so there's no rules. You would stop when your little mini story or your story is complete. So I definitely recommend doing the T chart and getting a bank going, getting yourself a bank of describing words or adjectives and a bank of action words or verbs, because that's how you're going to describe and tell what your noun is doing. I definitely recommend, if you come up with a block in your mind, go on thesaurus.com. Let's say you've got this fantastic tiger poem and you're at the end and you need a word that starts with T that means large, and you're just blanked out. You're totally blank. So you go to thesaurus.com, you put in large, and you see if you hit the jackpot and anything starts with T. It's a great resource to use. You might have seen also on the screen that dictionary.com is right there as well. Sometimes even I use that when I write to just, am I using this word correctly? Is the meaning of this word what I think it is? So there are so many tools and resources for you to use, but it's time to have fun and it's time to write. Enjoy pyramid poeming.